All right, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Big Go Belt Wrestling Podcast. It's your boy Two James here, along with the great giant crab. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man?
How you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. It's a good time. The Mets are in town this weekend for 3 games, so that's going to be great.
I know you could care less about my next statement, but today is officially the NFL Draft Day. Hashtag
What's the
NFL
NFL?
Draft Day. Go Panthers. I'm gonna wear a little bit of my gear to put on for my team. Hopefully we bring some star power. I'm looking forward to having a running back come in today. Sorry for that relapse. I was just getting the chat open just in case we get any action in there today. But yeah, draft day. So all of us aren't diehard football fans, which we're gonna, respect, but we will do our little twist of a draft. And then what I mean by that is each member of the team, we expect another member to jump on a little bit later. We're going to pick our top 2 wrestlers out of the entire wrestling community to start or help boost our respective wrestling organization, all fictional, of course, and for fun. So basically, we'll just go down and everybody will get a turn to pick a person. Hopefully, nobody's stepping on anybody's toes. And we'll just pick why we want this wrestler and why do we feel like it should either help or benefit our company. So other than that, Jamal, first, as you said, you had something you want to share with me. So let's hear it.
Yeah. So the WWE announced a new television deal in the Philippines. Now, that's not something that we need to specifically care about, but if you're watching this in the Philippines, good for you. Apparently, WWE is going to start coming on Fox Sports on SmackDown's on Sunday. I think Raw is on Tuesday morning. US, ESPN, which I've stopped watching years ago because they don't cover hockey anymore, is
but they do have a very, very small segment with what's his name? Merle. I forget, but they do have a small segment, and they definitely show no love for it. So, but anyway, continue. Right. Actually, today is not even a great day for ESPN as they're laying over about 100 of their employees, which is
my point. That's my point. So ESPN is undergoing a lot of layoffs. They have a lot of problems, and the point is that ESPN sucks, and they're not the go-to place for live sports anymore. If I pay $120 a year for baseball every single year to watch all of the games, ESPN says that I can't watch games on MLB.TV because they have the exclusive rights to it. Okay, I'll just watch every other game that's on Sunday. ESPN has some issues. Because they're not making enough money to justify the $2 billion that they spent for the NFL and the $3 billion that they spent for a multi-year baseball and basketball contract, should they invest in the WWE? I know that they have a contract to cover events, but when an actual story happened, they didn't cover it, which is BS. Nobody talked about JBL and Mauro Ranallo and their situation, whatever that may have led to, on ESPN as a legit news story. Nobody talked about it on ESPN as far as I know. Since ESPN is keeping it cute and not really covering wrestling, should they actually cover the WWE and maybe, dare I say, move a show to ESPN? I know the WWE has a multi-year, like 10-year deal with the NBC, but somewhere down the line, NBC is going to have to say, all right, cool, we're going to renegotiate. Do you think the ESPN will ever be able to step in and snatch WWE from NBC and Comcast? Should they? And what do you think ESPN's coverage of WWE should look like?
Very, very interesting barbershop type of question here. This is it's very complex. Okay, so first off, the Mauro and JBL incident, I think Jonathan Coachman was sort of I was gonna say bully, but I guess that would not be the correct term for the situation. But he was tampered with by Twitter followers as to why you're not speaking up on this and everything. And he played the happy medium where, I think he wants to say something, but at the same time, he felt like because of him repping ESPN was not a subject that he should, considering the type of backlash that it may bring. With that being said, too, I feel like that's overall the approach that ESPN takes on most news articles, except unless it's been reported by somebody else specifically first and harsh. So what I'm saying is, like, Tiger Woods get into the accident, get into a divorce with his wife. They're not gonna report that. CNN gets it or whoever, then they come in and then they bash it across the head for 2 weeks, whatever. I feel like they're just trying to always be politically correct and only give off like the hot, interesting topic. So, yeah, I get it. They do cover wrestling, and I feel like they just pick and choose about the topics that they use. I think they really, really play it safe. Now, ESPN having that Disney backing, I feel like at any opportunity they have the chance to come in and snag somebody and give them a ridiculous deal. So I think it's totally, totally possible and happening. But I mean, something we talk about all the time. I mean, the world is changing. People aren't, subscribing to cable companies and stuff anymore. Everybody's going to digital streaming products, and they're picking to choose their 10 things that they really like and deciding to pay $5, $10, $7, $20 for whatever it is, which leaves ESPN sort of say out in the dust about that. So, before I actually see WWE going over to some place such as Disney or ESPN, I see them making a run back to the network, and that just becoming just a totally source for WWE and all. If that answers your question.
It doesn't, but if WWE go, before I start this, Mr. Silly Sellers has joined us. So, hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? I'm glad I jumped in on this topic. And if I can add this to what 2 Chainz said, because I absolutely agree and like what you said, 2 Chainz. If ESPN wants to make a big habit or big jump to try to get back into the big game of competing with these other sport networks, I think you have to show WrestleMania on your product. And I think WrestleMania maybe 2018 or 2019, if you can get that with a boatload of commercials you want to put in, you can watch it on the network if you want to, but you're going to watch it on ESPN. I think that would be a great promotion because, like 2 Chainz said, they're already promoting and live feeds, and having Jonathan Coachman was like live there from WrestleMania 32 when we was there. They really could do a lot of big things if they can get a main stage WrestleMania like that. Maybe that want to bring more wrestle stuff to like that type of network for SummerSlam or any other special events. You don't have to do it often, maybe like once or twice a year.
I think too, also I can't confirm, but I believe when we was watching WrestleMania this year, they did have an hour worth of coverage on ESPN. I'm not sure if it actually pre-showed the match, because after that we just watched it off the network. But I mean, it makes sense. There's money to be made there, and there's obviously a big following. But I think right now, I mean, it's just it's a dark time in the company with layoffs, and that makes you think because with that being said, that there's this huge other obligations and contracts to other things that to get in the game and try to steal a contract with WWE. It seems undoable, but like I said, with the Disney following, it should be possible. I just don't know.
Here's where I disagree. ESPN has stubbornly refused to embrace new media, and I think that's part of the problem. And I don't mean streaming ESPN 3 or 360 or whatever they call it now, but I mean the idea of putting this. ESPN has chosen to put their talents above the sports. I don't know about you guys, but I don't watch ESPN for Stephen A. Smith. I don't watch ESPN for Skip Bayless, and I damn sure don't watch it for Stuart Scott. I hate all of those guys. I watch it for sports. I watch it for baseball. I watch it for wrestling if they were to have it. I watch it for hockey when they have it. None of those guys that I mentioned are bigger than the sports that they paid $1 billion for people to see. I think that unfortunately, because they have to have the hot take, like most of their midday programming is just guys, well, like us, spitting hot takes at whoever will listen. It's dull, it's formulaic, and I'm sick of it. I don't need the nerdy white guy and the overzealous black guy and the moderately attractive woman to moderate every freaking show that they have with ESPN when they talk about the day's issues in sports. But since wrestling is what it is, and it does walk, especially WWE, walking the line between sports and reality television, is that something that should even be on ESPN? It's like, you know, having sports in Vegas. Like, you know, you can gamble and bet on everything that there is. Nobody knows. Somebody may know how it's going to turn out. It kind of makes it illegitimate. So do you think that, you know, WWE, if they decide to break up with NBC, would you rather see them on ESPN or maybe Fox Sports Net or something like that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm back and forth about it. I mean, at this point now, I wouldn't be objective if everything just went straight to the network. But if I had to pick between the two, I mean, yeah, we put on ESPN, it does legitimize it. But yeah, it also comes with that stigma that it does get that whole, you know, they got to put their hands on the content and how it's presented. So yes, do we end up having some more moderating styles like First Take is, or, you know, just that concept that seems to be really trendy? I don't know. I like how the WWE is now, for good or for bad, and I wouldn't want ESPN/Disney to like get involved and then to also, you know, have another style of Vince McMahon type of management up top to try to make decisions that we don't care about, sort of say as fans, and we feel like that sort of says hold back some of the great talent that's there. Right. It's all gonna become paparazzi. I mean, look, I wouldn't even be objective. I mean, I wouldn't even be like, you know, surprised if they're like, oh, John Cena's our moneymaker. He's our comedian. He's funny. Let's give him a ton of commercials on ESPN, but we need John Cena to at least have a segment each show for 30 minutes or something. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be like how they book him on SmackDown when he's there. Well, last thing, and I'll you know, we can move on from this. I do think that they're not ready to transition to the network full time. As much as obviously everyone who has the network or has used the network has griped that why are we seeing brand new Raws that are technically a month old? We want live Raw and SmackDown and Superstars and Shotgun Saturday Night and Heat and all of the other shows. Why isn't it just on the network? And the thing is that only 1 million or so people have the network, and it fluctuates from month to month. 3 million people, for some reason, watched Raw last week. SmackDown didn't do so well, but more people watch SmackDown that have the network. So I do think that though the network is progressive and groundbreaking, and it is the way that TV is going to go, they haven't turned that corner yet as far as getting people to get over to the network to subscribe to that one thing when you already pay $300 for cable. Now you're telling me to pay $10 for the thing I used to get for free?
I get it.
We've seen it before. We've seen it before on satellite radio when Howard Stern left, and 2/3 of his audience didn't come from terrestrial radio to satellite radio. Because why would I pay for something that I used to get for free?
Yeah.
Or was included in my bundle.
That's a good point. Very good point. I can't even top that. That's a very good point. Especially like you said, breaking down of 3 million viewers that watch something free compared to 1 million that pay for a network compared to hundreds of millions in the country. Numbers don't add up when you're trying to sell your product. I understand totally.
I don't know,
yeah,
but I think figure out how to. No, go ahead. I don't know. I just think it's safe to say if they had their weekly Raw and SmackDown on the network, that it will increase their viewership and buys. I mean, I even think they make an argument to even increase the price some, because again, like you always say, people watch what they want to watch, and instead of buying cable and spending $100 and getting 1 billion channels to only watch 15 of them, you know, if you had to narrow it down, you may break better by specifically paying for what you want to see.
But WWE doesn't have a business model that caters to just the haves versus the have-nots. They want everybody to watch.
That's true.
Why half of their show on Raw, at least from what I've seen, is Michael Cole pimping out new things. So the idea is, if we can get 5 million people to watch WWE programming when it happens live, okay, cool. But not everybody gets the network. Not everybody has the network in their country also, where they just get on the cable. That's another international thing that they got to work out.
Yeah.
It's, Wayne, what's going on, man?
Nothing, watching NFL draft.
I don't know why. It's the NFL. It's April. God, can't football die already?
No, never.
Oh my God. But
All
the
right,
idea
so
is
before you two flags us. All right,
but
go
the
ahead.
idea is that it will they're not there yet, but it will be coming soon. But speaking of
I like to say too, I think that the UK Championship tournament is another testament to being able to host live streaming on the network weekly, and I'm gonna be curious to see how it's done. No matter what anybody says, 205 Live is not always recorded live. I think it distinguishes. I think it depends on where they're at that week. So yeah, they do some live shows, but not all the time.
right.
So
The 205, they didn't even have 205 Live when I went to a live SmackDown here in DC. And because that was taped the night before Raw in Philadelphia a couple months ago. I want to say in December.
I was with you.
Whenever they did Tribute to the Truth.
Yeah.
Right. So that was annoying.
Yeah.
The WWE, speaking of their global takeover and the UK tournament, well, they're having tryouts in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, over the last few days.
Okay.
So it's 4 days of tryouts. They had 27 men and 7 women from 18 countries represented. A lot of people from India, because the Great Khali apparently has a wrestling school there, sent some guys over. And, for what it's worth, they seem to be the ones that stand out the most. To be helping taking, and they're almost halfway through it. Do you think that with the UK tournament and its subsequent show that will definitely compete with World of Sport in England, obviously they have the Americas on lock. Do we see another territory or two pop up? Because New Japan, for what it's worth, owns Japanese wrestling, but their marketing, their television is pretty hard to find on TV in Japan. Do you think WWE, still breaks ground in new areas that way? Can they do it? Rather,
Ultimately, that should be the business scope and plan. So, but yeah, it's hard to really speak for a whole nation, sort of saying, and what gets them going each and every day. But I actually think that's ultimately their goal. So I think they got to strike. And I keep saying gold. They're going to end up striking gold eventually in one of these countries. And I think, this is all the whole backing with Jinder Mahal right now and getting a push. So, I think there's a method to the madness. So within some time, eventually I think it's going to happen.
They're pushing India.
I think it's going to happen too. I mean, the reason why I think it's going to happen is more of, I think WWE markets its company probably one of the best I've seen. You see them basically everywhere. And I feel like because they have an advantage on marketing, they can probably pull in from other markets based on, their customs and things like that.
That's true. I do think that individually, speaking from like a country to country basis, there are those countries that are more accepting to a Western a corporation coming in and bringing their business. And again, WWE presents a Western style of wrestling that's unique to North America. In India, as we've seen with Jeff Jarrett going over there, with TNA going over there, that's a different style of wrestling. It didn't really work out too well. So it's not that wrestling as a sport can't thrive, as it does currently thrive around the world, but that Western style that WWE presents may not be something that people in India, China, New Guinea, wherever, it may not resonate with them. So I think that that's going to be their biggest thing. But they're clearly making a push, as we see in the case of India with Jinder Mahal, being fast tracked to getting a big push right now. Good for him.
Can I pause on that? I know we mentioned Jinder Mahal this a couple of times, but I just want to get a small 30-second rant if I can. And I don't mean to interrupt you, Jamal, but
you just did. It's okay.
Yeah, you're so polite.
But I think it's a great thing that WWE is pushing Jinder Mahal and making, once again, SmackDown look like it's the place that's going to expose people and make people stars. Now, let's not forget, if you review WWE footage or NXT footage, rather, the WWE Network footage, you would see that when Roman Reigns debuted, that was in the middle when Jinder Mahal was actually one of the best talents on NXT and feuded with Seth Rollins. And then he got called up, it just dropped a little bit where they dropped the ball with him. But he's always had a strong gimmick. Now, people may call it racist because he's been put with the Bollywood boys, but I think this is
bingo.
They're trying.
That's what I call it: stereotype and racist. And
it's a stable that they can build up where you're not.
It's a stable that they can build up. That's going to be a stable for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months at the most.
I mean,
I don't disagree with any of that.
It's such a stereotypical stable, but it's worked over the years. I mean, the whole point is to put heat on him, and he gets booed out the gym. And I really think at one point it was booed because of his physique and the stereotype with that. To now, he's directing it more or less toward something that that can create wrestling type of heat, not real life heat, or maybe you can translate it to be the same depending on the type of person you are. But you put one person over. You can put one person over that can use some other type of like flimsy gimmick to work.
Here's I don't have an issue with the land of opportunity. I feel like he does deserve it, but parts of me feel like he can build his heat on his own instead of actually being in a stereotype stable. And another reason why I feel like he's in this spot because I feel like they have nobody else to be put in it right now.
So none of you guys think that it's a coincidence that Mahal is being pushed as they're making definite inroads in India
in that
market? No, right. Yeah. Right. But to combat with Jeff Jarrett and TNA making the same inroads in India.
Oh, I didn't even think about the whole picture there. Yeah,
right. But I do think that even though whether or not he got a push is legitimate or not, because personally I don't think WWE gives a good goddamn about Jinder Mahal. Because if Rusev were ready to go and he's injured, if they had like a legit heel, because Corbin isn't ready yet, then they would have pushed any of those guys over Mahal, and Mahal would be playing another gas station attendant or whatever stupid stereotypical Indian gimmick that he would have. But I do think that it is not a coincidence that they're doing these things on the business side in India. They have a guy, heel or not, that they are making to put him at the precipice of a championship out of nowhere. Whether you like him or not, you can't argue with the fact that, hey, this guy could win it. Probably won't, but he could win it. And for the 1.2 billion Indians over there going, yeah, this is our guy. Doesn't matter if he's a heel or not. I definitely think that's not a coincidence. That's totally by design. And it's unfortunate because I do like Jinder Mahal as a heel. I think he's doing his best work since NXT.
That's what we call brilliant marketing.
Yeah,
brilliant or opportunistic, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I definitely think that they're dealing the hand that they got. Because I guarantee that if they were going back to Japan, they would be pushing a Japanese guy.
And my biggest thing is too, beyond this is like I feel like this is done right at the right time because when you think about the UK tournament and its marketing and the backing behind that, I feel bad for Drew Galloway because I feel like that's somebody that should have been the spotlight of that tour. And
chosen one.
He was out of the company at the time. I'm sure he wasn't sure with his current run, and he reinvented himself on the indie scene, which I thought was brilliant. But I'm sure there was a lot of chatter upon him returning, sort of say his disbelief or just being upset of not being able to seek that opportunity. As far as management, also saying like maybe this is how we should handle it moving forward. So, I think this makes sense, and I think it's the right way to do it. And I won't be surprised if when the WWE makes his tour back around to China, that what's his name, the NXT
Ben Wong.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be more focal then. And it's the same thing with Nakamura when he first came. Let me correct me if I'm wrong. Was Nakamura or was Asuka here first? I think it was Nakamura.
Asuka. I do believe Asuka was here first.
It was definitely Asuka.
Nonetheless, you saw the complete. You saw exactly what was put into play when they signed with WWE. Straight back over to Japan. Other top wrestling stars was making appearances and also giving homage to. I mean, Kota Ibushi being in CWC before that even happened, they pay homage to the style of wrestling and strong style and his accomplishment. And then, they weren't scared to bring up the IWGP Championship, which Brock Lesnar has been fighting in Japan for a long time. They never, ever has mentioned him to that title at all. But, as soon as they made that tour, they opened up, I'm not going to say open up a new market, but there was just less, they gave more exposure to the entire world of wrestling.
Well, let me actually ask this then. Do you think that it's disingenuous, or do you like the idea that wrestling moves are being made for corporate reasons? I know all of the whole bit is to make money, but the fact that Jinder Mahal is a championship is on the precipice of a championship is because of the India push. That we got the British, the UK tournament because World of Sport came back and ITV threatened WWE in that market. They're thinking about doing a Latin thing, and that was just after ROH and AAA announced that they were going to be working together, or CMLL, and then TNA came out and said that they're going to start working with AAA, and then Lucha Underground is AAA, and now all of a sudden we got we got the CWC because NXT, God forbid, they need more people, and they need them now, and they can't just shuffle them in there. So these are corporate reasons why these things are happening. Luckily, the ends do justify the means, but would you rather see wrestling reasons, spur these events, rather than just like saying that we're taking over Mongolia now, so we're going to have a Mongolian championship tournament next weekend?
I definitely get your gist, and I'm perfectly fine with how it's being done. I mean, yes, it seems stereotypical, but I mean, to the average fan, you got to do your research to find out the method behind some of these moves and stuff like that. I mean, it all comes down to the same thing with storylines. Chris Jericho is not going to win this week because he has to go on this Fonzie tour. So, are we mad because that's being booked that way, or should he keep the belt and disappear for 6 months or 8 months or whatever it may be? So
that's what did.
I mean, I mean, it's stereotypical, but I mean, I have to look at it from a positive aspect of without them being in these markets, the people that you see getting pushed would never have been pushed.
Yeah. And what's funny about that too, I was going to say before I went on that whole other tantrum, is that now it doesn't even matter because everybody wants to just say, well, Jinder Mahal is a world or was a world champion. No matter how it happened, it's the accolade that, in a sense, we care about it with certain people like Cena and Ric Flair. But do we care that Sasha was really a 3-time women's champion? I mean, it seems to hold more prestige than what's her name that just returned? Why am I drawing a blank? What's her name? That's a 5-time women's champion. Because I mean, in a sense, it all depends,
Right.
So I'm completely fine with the fact of they're making storyline moves or business decisions based on marketing and money schemes, sort of say. So it's fine.
Well, obviously, all's well that ends well, and that's fine too. Speaking of SmackDown Live a bit, they drew their lowest rating of the year so far. 2.493 million people watched SmackDown Live. That was the average. And that's down about 150,000 people from 2.544 million. Raw didn't do as well either. They lost about 100,000 people, drawing slightly over 3 million for the average. I know that the immediate excuses that could be made, well, it's playoff time, hockey, basketball, badminton, whatever you got going on. There will always be something to watch. And I know that Raw was particularly terrible this week. I only lasted about 45 minutes on it. Do you think that even though Raw still continuously beats SmackDown in the average rating, is it still apt to say that SmackDown is the better show? I mean, if it was, then more people should be watching it, right?
I have no clue why this happens the way it is. If it's not because of the competition on Tuesday on television, because I actually believe that the only thing for me to watch on TV, if not sports, is Raw on Monday. But Tuesday, there's a whole different array of things to watch. So, you really have to pick and choose your poison there. So, in viewership, what are we basing this off of? The people that actually watch it live? Or are we counting the people that, restreams it on Hulu the next day? it's more competition on Tuesday. I think that's genuinely the issue every single time.
I think. I mean, we have to consider. I mean, nowadays people have DVRs, so it's just like, okay, well, if we don't watch it now, we'll watch it later. So it's kind of it skews the numbers a lot.
Well, they don't count the DVRs. They only count the people that watch it live. But even if that is the case, that's still consistent from week to week. And SmackDown, for what it's worth, drew its lowest ratings of the year so far, and we're 5 months into the year. Obviously, the WrestleMania stuff was at its highest point, and this, stems from the Royal Rumble and all that pre-WrestleMania stuff. Since we are in kind of like the doldrums of that time between SummerSlam and WrestleMania, it's kind of like the low point of WWE for the year. What do you think needs to happen? They've had a superstar shakeup. Nobody cared. What do you think needs to happen to get people back on board with the blue brand?
Again, it doesn't matter to me because I feel like there's more competition on Tuesdays with everything that comes on TV, other more easier, convenient channels. What I mean by that is your basic cable stations, and you can't factor in the digital streams or like I said, the replays on Hulu and such. So SmackDown's a better show. Everybody can agree. But the fact that is it actually making people watch over other television programming? Maybe not. I mean, because obviously on Monday, what else is there to watch on Monday? All across the board.
Baseball.
Football season's out, and it's only Raw.
Yeah, to me.
Nobody watches football anyway, but baseball's on right now. So,
but I need you to chat though.
But Tuesday, I mean, you have a whole, like I said, a whole bundle of things. The Flash. I watch the Flash on Tuesdays, which I don't watch live no more. I watch it the next day on Hulu. That's it, or not Hulu now because they lost the rights. I have to watch the CW app, which is annoying because now it has commercials. But yeah, that's how it is. Okay. So anywho, WWE Payback is this Sunday. It is live in San Jose, California. So let's just go down the card real quick, and we can give some quick predictions about how we think this card is, how these matches are going to end, or what's to move forward with it. I mean, generally, I get that feeling that a lot of people do not care about this pay-per-view. I cannot say I'm very excited myself. I can't say I plan to make sure I'm in the house to watch it. But nonetheless, it is happening. So let's just cover it real quick and, everybody give their input or whatever. But the pre-show match, first of all, Finn Balor is going to be on, what is it, Miz TV on the pre-show? Not quite sure why that's happening and why they're wasting two of their better talents in such a, I don't know. It's typical pre-show shenanigans here. Sound like you want to say something.
Yeah, I thought he was fighting the Miz. Then if it's just Miz TV, it's no point because are you going to build the feud with him and Finn Balor, the Miz and Finn Balor, or I thought you was trying to go with Bray? Where are you going? And that's why I think Raw is just going in so many different directions where it's just unclear. And to your point, the reason why I'm not liking this pay-per-view is because it's supposed to be a Raw pay-per-view, but you have two SmackDown talents on this pay-per-view for matches. I don't get it.
First off, you have to stop associating anybody that deals with the Miz as being a feud because the Miz is just such a mouthpiece that he's able to make segments interesting. I mean, he's like a heel New Day. So I don't think there's a feud at all here. I think this is like we need something for you to do and something for you to do. And the Miz is good at anything he does. So I don't think there's a building factor here. It's the same with Nakamura. I don't think there was a building factor, obviously, because it never amounted to anything. So again, that's why I just emphasize on how I feel like this is completely sort of a waste of talent, especially with Finn Balor making a return. Needed to build a little bit more momentum, and you don't really want to put him against arguably one of your better heels in the company to try to put him over because it's not going to happen when you have no momentum. It's just not going to happen. And not to mention, the Miz also got sort of more heat from facing John Cena at WrestleMania, but actually people are more likable to him as well too because of who it was. So this is one of those things you really got to watch you put around the Miz because it can really hurt that other person. It helps the Miz, but it just doesn't benefit as far as from the wrestling aspect at all to this. But anyway, yes, that's happening. The Miz TV is on the pre-show. You also have Enzo and Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson in the tag match. That's it. Don't understand.
Hey, I'm going to say this about this pay-per-view. A lot of the matches that we predicted for this pay-per-view happened before the superstar switch. So we knew that it's going to be a rematch between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. That's something we knew. We knew that it's going to be a rematch between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. So I'm not excited for the fact that I just feel like it's too much going on. And I'm going to say this, as a Roman Reigns fan.
Oh my God!
As a Roman Reigns fan, the worst thing that can happen right now is him beating Braun Strowman.
Okay. I know Sullis has something to say about that because he brought that up last week. But yeah, okay. So anyway, look, I hate to steal Jamal's swagger here, but do we actually care about this first match, Enzo and Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson? Is there anything to be made here?
No.
Nope.
Does Enzo even make it to wrestle this match?
Oh,
Hopefully not.
Is it time for Enzo to go to NXT again?
oh,
No, I mean, I think Enzo, he's like Flavor Flav, And as a fan of Public Enemy, I hate Flavor Flav. He doesn't really add anything. He's not why I'm there. And unfortunately, if you're there for Colin Cassidy, meh. Cassidy can't speak and Enzo doesn't wrestle. What do we have here?
You know what's so backwards about that? If you're noticing now that Big Cass gets more mic time than Enzo. Enzo cuts the same beginning, but Cass does all the homage to the city that they're in. Vince McMahon's hands are very, very, his fingerprints is very, very evident here on Big Cass. And it won't be long till he's having a singles run. When I say long, won't be long, I feel like this is going to happen within like a month of how soon it is before they're actually broken up or anything. Yeah, they're selling merch. But Enzo hasn't even wrestled in I don't know how long. And I mean, he doesn't bring anything to the ring. Inside the ring, sort of say, yeah, he's funny outside. People like him. I'm sure women, there's a women appeal for him as well, too. But I mean, look, you got Roman Reigns for that. As far as how Vince McMahon mind thinks, I guess. But yeah, I don't care about that match. And then, next match, you got Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens. Chris Jericho wins. He goes to SmackDown Live. Obviously, we know Chris Jericho loses and he disappears. Agreed? Right. Comments?
No, nothing.
Agreed.
Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Hardy Boys wins. I feel like Cesaro and Sheamus probably will not stay a tag team much longer. There's a real awkwardness about both of them being faces right now. And on top of that,
it's an awkwardness about this whole match. The whole build to this match is just awkward to me.
Yeah, we're not going to sit here and say that anything broken is going to happen because there's no means behind it. Eventually it's coming by the trolling that Matt Hardy's giving online. So maybe they worked out some of that legal actions, but there's nothing to make of this match too. I think the Hardys retain. Do we agree?
Agreed.
Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, House of Horrors match, which none of us knows what the House of Horror is. This is also not for the belt anymore. So what does it matter?
It's not for the belt anymore?
No, it's not.
No.
So what does it matter? House.
Dumb.
It's not for the belt anymore?
No. Here's another question. Does this match actually happen inside the ring?
No. I hope not. I hope it's
pre-taped.
I hope it's pre-taped.
Yeah. Yep. I have a good hunch that is what it is.
If they don't go to some kind of satellite and they throw it out to whoever, John Cone, just the referee out there, and that's it. They need to just let him go and do this. Basically, rip off the Hardy Boys gimmick.
I was just gonna say, is there any chance that this happens in North Carolina?
Maybe.
No, Payback is in San Jose.
Yeah. So
I don't. Hell, they could start it at the beginning of the show, and they just cut to them fighting at the Apple headquarters, and then cut to them fighting at the Google headquarters. Randy Orton gets hit by a light rail train at the HP Arena. They can throw him into the big lake in Cupertino. I don't care how they do it, but since they haven't really explained it, they can just go all out.
Yeah.
I think this match is better than that
flower pot on the cage match. It's totally pointless. It's not for the belt.
Yeah.
Yep. Austin Aries and Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. I actually think this is actually the opportunity where Austin Aries should win. But again, I love the heel. I think Neville's the best thing going for 205 Live. I think him being the champion has created a lot of character for other people. I mean, TJ Perkins going slightly heel is good for business. A lot of other faces are stepping up. And it's only a matter of time before Cedric gets in the picture. And I think a face Cedric needs to beat a heel championship to become a heel champion, sort of say. But again, maybe that might be the only match that I may be interested in watching. But booking for here, guys.
I don't think it matters, honestly.
All right, it kind of does. It can go either way. You can either extend the feud or keep it like it is.
Because the problem is that I see with 205 Live is that no one else wants the belt but Austin Aries. Noam Dar is on some other stuff, I guess. Jack Gallagher and a damn umbrella, sure, whatever. But nobody seems to be ready to vie for the title except maybe Austin Aries. Hell, even Rich Swann is doing some other stuff. So,
what's his name is kind of stepping up. Why am I drawing a blank now? That wears the black and the white. That does that sick
Mustafa
ass.
Ali?
Yes, Mustafa Ali. Yes. But again, he's a face, so Austin Aries versus him doesn't make sense. I mean, because obviously he's up in the title picture right now for a reason. But yeah, you're right. Not too many other people seem to be like focal on that. But whatever. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, as D. Wayne said, and I also agree. I feel like Braun Strowman momentum should sell him to seal the victory here. I think it ultimately only makes sense. If Roman Reigns win here, I'm utterly confused.
Honestly, I don't see Braun winning. This might be the motion of switching Roman saying, I'm D-Man and I'm fighting for my brother type thing. I wish Braun would win. This would be great if Braun would win, but I just see Roman winning. He's Cena 2.0 now.
I mean, do you think that's relevant for him to have to bring in something in real life to a person who's a borderline heel? I mean,
No.
he's the guy. I don't think they take that avenue at all.
Me either.
I don't think the Roman is actually a heel. I know that's what people are saying, and I know that's how people feel. I still don't think it's a heel.
He's
not heel.
I mean, he's not officially heel, but I mean, he's getting heel heat. I don't think you try to milk the babyface crowd by bringing in a real life instance.
Well, especially since that's not really like a known thing. I don't think people were going, "Hey, do you remember 3 Minute Warning? Both of them have passed away, and one of them was Roman's brother, and one of them was Roman's cousin." Nobody's making that connection. I do think though Braun should win. He will not win though.
Also, too, I mean, look at the heat that Braun got for the ambulance incident. People want him to be fired and petitioned. So what? If he wins now, people are going to say that wasn't right because they knew Wizardface had a death in his family?
I think that if Braun does not if he doesn't murder Roman Reigns, and I mean completely, if he doesn't do what Brock Lesnar did to Randy Orton at SummerSlam, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
If he doesn't do that, anything other than that, he should lose.
I see.
Because they've done it before.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that too. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be the Monster Among Men, then you need to do monster stuff, and not just monster segments on Raw, but the pay-per-view where it should matter.
Yeah, like I want to see him choke slam through the ring or something like that.
Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, which I think should be an entertaining match here. I can care less how this is booked either, to be honest.
I don't care less if I see this match, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a shame because if this were to happen in NXT, I'd be all for it.
Right, but there's no point.
That's true.
Right. Like, they're fighting over the ability to fight over Triple H's shadow. I guess.
And can we comment on Seth Rollinson's new finisher now?
I mean, what aspect do we want to talk about it? The fact that Kenny Omega
finisher?
Yeah, he has Kenny Omega's that knee that he uses the
V trigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenny Omega definitely had his words on Twitter about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He was like, well, at least I still have my name. But yeah, man, there's no excitement about this. So we're going to this last match, and then let's try to up the excitement here on the podcast today, because everybody seems a little bit mellow. Or are y'all so paying
you brought up Payback, and nobody cares about it. You might as well talk football so I can go to sleep.
Okay, Alexa Bliss and Bayley for the championship here. What happens, or what's your take on it?
One of the reasons why people never mention their hometown is so they can't lose in it. And I think that that is the thing. That's the thing that I keep hearing, that I don't have a hometown. I'm from parts unknown because I can't lose in my hometown. This is Bayley's first pay-per-view in her hometown of San Jose. And they've done the fluff pieces where she's a super fan or whatever, basically John Cena. Jane Cena, as it were. Huh. She's going to absolutely be destroyed in her hometown. And Alexa Bliss is going to get the heat that she needs to carry to finally that she had on SmackDown. I think she lost a little bit of it coming to Raw.
I agree. I would like to see Alexa Bliss win. I like for it to be as dirty as it could be.
Right.
To me, in my opinion, this may be a bold statement, and I'm gonna say,
bold statement, everybody.
I think Alexa Bliss is the top woman in all of wrestling right now.
Oh, you're insane.
That's not. In what manner?
No, that's silly.
In
what manner?
He called this a bold statement too.
And I'm being serious because it's just the way her charisma is right now and how she's performing in the ring and how she can speak on the mic. It's like it comes so fluid. She controls the crowd. She knows how to control her character in the ring when she's speaking. I think right now she is the best woman in women's wrestling.
She's not the best women wrestler on the roster right now. She may be up there as far as the best mouthpiece. And I don't know if you remember, but about a month ago, there was a lot of chatter backstage about her not her work ethic, but how she basically how they were unsure about her abilities in the ring and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to judge. I don't think all her matches have been stellar. Actually, I don't think she's actually had a really good match. But she does the heel thing. She's very good on mic. But there's this person called Charlotte Flair that I think is absolutely the best at everything that Alexa Bliss wants to be.
Let me clarify something because two things just happened here, and I want people to realize this. James just said that I don't judge and then immediately judged her. That's number one.
You said what?
Number two, you just said I don't judge and then you immediately judged Alexa Bliss. So that just happened. But that's not the first time you've done that. The second thing is Mr. Silly Cell is certainly living up to his name because that was absolutely insane to say something like that.
Yeah,
I agreed.
To be fair, do you mean the best woman in WWE, which is still wrong, or do you mean in the world?
WWE. I'm sorry.
Okay.
WWE.
Okay.
It's
still a bold statement. Patent pending. But
WWE.
Okay. Because Asuka's the best wrestler in WWE.
Okay.
Correct. I agree.
I still think Charlotte's better.
I don't know the way Alexa's right. Okay, the way Alexa's going right now, I think she's great. I think
she's great.
I think you're just fixated.
She is cute, but she's not Emma.
Well, okay. See, we've turned a corner, and now we're talking about the truth here. She is cute, but she is not Emma.
She's not Emma.
She's not.
Okay, and again, she's not a better wrestler than Emma, and you know that. So how is she considered the best? You took away one of the biggest aspects of why somebody gets a job with the company. One happens to be Vince McMahon's eyes lighting up for this person, and how he could probably change them into a diva at any moment. 2 happens to be the wrestling ability, and 3 happens to be the entertainment ability. So yeah, Emma may not be the best spoken, but obviously she's hot because she almost became Emmalina, and she's obviously have some of the most classic matches on NXT. Can't say the same about Alexa Bliss, and I can't say the same about her on the main roster either.
It's okay.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Silly Sellers. Is there a match that Alexa Bliss has had that's better than Emma versus Paige, Charlotte versus Bayley versus Sasha Banks, which I think are the two best, or Bayley versus Asuka. I think that those are the three best women's matches in WWE that I've seen in a long time. Or hell, I even give you Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for like the 19th time.
To all 4.
I can't think of any of those matches that are worse than an Alexa Bliss match.
No, but hold on. But here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
Your work puts you over top. When you can sell me to, all right, let me put it this method. I can DVR Raw, I can DVR SmackDown. I will fast forward through everything, but if I stop on you, that means you're making me intrigued to what you have to say or what you're doing in the ring. And if I fast forward through all of Raw, when it comes to Alexa Bliss, I'm stopping and playing every time.
I get it. Everybody thinks she's cute and she has good merch. I get it.
No, this is the thing though. By your own admission, you're not stopping it, because if you're watching Raw at 4 times the speed, you can't hear anything. You only see things. And at the blur that it's going by, when you fast forward, you go, "Oh, how you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And you stop and watch. So there's actually nothing about Bliss's, anything other than the fact that how you doing. That's why you stop and watch. Let's call a spade a spade. She's cute, and she does have some nice biscuits, but you're not actually watching Alexa Bliss the wrestler. You're watching Alexa Bliss the former cheerleader that just happens to wrestle.
I'm watching the wrestler. I think of what's her name? Staten Island Queen. I think of her as the former cheerleader over a wrestler.
Well, she was a dancer, sort of say.
She was a cheerleader, so yeah, that's legit.
For the Lakers, right?
I thought she was a Lakers girl. I mean, I guess that does make.
She was a cheerleader for the New England football team, the Boston team.
That's right. Why are you saying it like
Boston? Somebody's.
Why are you saying it like they're the Washington racial slur team?
Because it's a football team. Nobody knows what they do up there.
I mean, they win championships, obviously, and I'm not even a fan. But
no one would know that. Nobody follows football.
Okay, so look, I'm about to transition into the next topic real quick. Since Mr. Silly Seller seems to be really high on this person. Look, we're doing our own NFL.
He's surely high on something.
We're doing our own NFL draft again, like I said in the beginning of the show, where we're all going to pick our first and second round picks of the entire wrestling community that we will build our brand upon. This is only going to be a week thing, so we're just going to just make this fun for today and see how it goes. So, D-Wayne, you do have the first pick of all 4 of us, and I want you to explain who are you going to draft to your company and why.
We all know who he's going to draft.
I wish you would speak.
No, I mean, I think he's going to surprise us.
With the first pick in this year's draft, D-Wayne drafts the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
I told you, he's going to surprise us.
Continue. Why is AJ Styles your guy?
Not only has he shown that the ability to do promos, his in-ring skills with anyone is just excellent. I think that you could build a brand off him easily.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. No argument there.
The second pick will be Mr. Crab himself.
Hi. My first pick in this fantasy non-football related draft is Io Shirai from Japan. I think she's the best woman wrestler in the world.
Okay. I remember you mentioning her a while ago. What is her current contract status?
I'm not a manager. I don't know. I know that she does wrestle for, I want to say, Stardom in Japan, which is an all-women's promotion.
Right.
And she's done some stuff for not New Japan, but the other one. I know it's All Japan, and I want to say not Dragon Gate, but one of the other ones. I can't think of what it is, but she definitely works for Stardom in Japan.
Mr. Silly says it's only right that you and your 49ers obtain the third pick here on the show and in real life.
Yep. With my first pick, Team Silly Sellers selects Bobby Roode for my number 1 pick in my fantasy draft of all wrestling. And I'm taking that on a accumulation of not only what he's done at NXT, but overall what he's done on his personal wrestling accolades. I just think Bobby Roode is the person that can be the guy in a wrestling promotion.
Okay. And I, Mr. 2 Chainz, with my first pick, is going to take Will Ospreay. Not only because this guy's up and coming and very exciting, but I believe he's only 24 years old. So I have longevity with this guy. He's been all over the world. And whenever there's a match, you're watching. And he's arguably had the match of the year, one of the matches of the year of last year. So Will Ospreay for me, sir.
Okay.
With the second round, because just because you had the first pick doesn't mean you have the first pick in the second round as well, too. Mr. Silly Sellers, what's your second pick?
My second pick, and once again, I have to be very objective to the situation of who's available and what they can do. I cannot be a homer on this pick, so I will go.
Be a homer and pick Moose.
No. It's between three people. I know I got 30 seconds on the clock. I'll go pick Roman Reigns. Even though I don't want to, it's just the fact that he brings in a reaction. And if you got a guy that brings in reaction, and I'll give it to him, he is talented in the ring, and he can probably go with anybody in the ring. And think of a feud between Roman Reigns and Bobby Roode. I think you got some money there.
Okay. And with your second pick, D-Wayne.
Man, this is tough.
It's not tough. You literally have the world to pick from.
You do.
I know I have the world to pick from, and
there is no wrong answer except Roman Reigns.
Look.
You get a pass because you wasn't prepared for it. I get it. But yes, there's a zillion of people right now. Yeah. You could pick
literally name any wrestler.
Matter of fact,
and it will be fine.
I'm going to go with someone from New Japan.
Ooh.
I felt like his match with Nakamura was great. I'm going with Okada.
Okay.
That's the second pick.
That makes sense.
I think between him and AJ Styles will put on epic matches. Epic.
Right. And I'm also, with my next pick, I'm also going to steal your tandem a little bit too with comparing my top two people to run my company. I'm going with Ricochet, who's also another young cat in the game. I think he's like 27, 28.
Yeah.
I've been all over the world, can do all the skills. As Ricochet, there's not so much of a gimmick there. I mean, King Ricochet, I get it. But as Prince Puma, I think was one of the most intriguing characters on Lucha Underground, and he has all the tools in the toolbox. And him and Will Ospreay on team against each other, there's magic there. So that concludes only with you, Krabby, with your last pick.
Well, I guess with my last pick, this is tough since there are no other wrestlers left.
I mean, you.
This is entirely too difficult. Who should I pick? Goodness. No one's available.
My draft board is completely empty. He's so funny.
No, I mean it's a really easy answer. I picked Io Shirai, and obviously, if this were a full board, I would pick many other women wrestlers to go to complement her, so she wouldn't be there by herself. But no, it's fairly simple. You got to go with Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
I love his gimmick currently. I think he's a damned fine wrestler. The villain, Marty Scurll.
Easily my third pick. Easily.
Yeah, you didn't want to go with the 1%?
Huh?
You didn't want to go with the 1%, Krabby?
Again, if this were a full 17 rounds, I don't know how football does it, but baseball is 7 days, and then there's the Rule 5 draft, and there's the entry draft.
It is.
So it's like a month of draft in baseball. That's so right. If I were to do the whole thing, then yeah, obviously, Logan would certainly be a pick. Cedric Alexander would definitely be a pick.
Who would pick Cody Rhodes?
I would certainly pick up Cody. Who wouldn't pick up Cody Rhodes?
Okay.
I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously, if we flesh this thing out for an entire hour, then yeah, it would get hard.
Question is, how did you pick Roman Reigns over Cody Rhodes, sir?
Reaction, man, just reaction. When you hear Roman Reigns, he gets reaction. He's like the new Cena. It's like it's like he was too big of a prospect not to pass up. He was like Myles Garrett to me. As much as you want to think about Mitch Trubisky, you have to pick Myles Garrett. And
I get it, but Cody Rhodes also.
What is that? That's a kind of potato or something?
Oh my god!
Like I was saying, Cody Rhodes' name alone, last name Rhodes, is accepted everywhere like a black card. And I don't understand how you're saying his appeal doesn't go globally.
All right, how about this? Let's do one last round.
Okay.
I think we should. Okay, cool.
I think we should.
On the order out to
Wait. Yeah, you go first.
me.
No. D-Wayne.
I'm about to say no.
All right. My third round pick would be someone who I thought I would never pick, but he's grown on me over times. Kevin Owens. It's my third round pick.
Okay.
They fit for me.
Yeah.
Solid. Krabby.
Yo. Third round pick. I only had 2 written down. I didn't know they were doing 3. But
well,
I mean,
please understand that there's not many options here for you.
There are not many options. There's only like 6 guys left.
No.
In the world.
In the entire world.
In the entire world.
Congrats.
Right. So I would probably go. I do love Logan. I also like Anthony Bowen. I also like Keith Lee.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, Keith Lee is a monster, man. I love Brian Cage. Dijak is amazing. I mean, there's so many. It's not a matter of who to pick. It's like who to pick first.
Yeah.
So I guess my third pick, you have to go with the illustrious Veda Scott.
Oh my god.
Okay. Over your girl.
If you've never seen a promo from Veda Scott,
yeah,
enlighten yourself. She's damned good.
She's good.
You picking her over a 21-year-old Jordan Grace? Yes,
I am.
I personally, with my third pick, and it is my pick, I'm all about trying to keep things age centric. It's for the longevity of my brand, but not totally familiar with this guy's age, but I'm also considering the demographics and how he can expand my brand in another country. And I'm going to go with Aleister Black here.
Raw pick. That's very raw.
I think he's another guy. I think he has the look. He has the work. He's been all over as well too. And hello to the UK community.
Gotcha.
And it will be your pick, sir?
And my pick, Silly Sellers, will be a little bit wild card here.
Uh-oh. He had a bold prediction earlier, folks. Get ready.
Jay Lethal. That is my third pick.
I saw that coming.
I thought that even though he has never got a chance to be on the WWE stage, I still think Jay Lethal is one of the most unique, one of the most rangy. And I'm gonna put a plug in here for you, 2 Chainz. I think he is the Christian McCaffrey of wrestling.
I am currently watching. I see this. So
no, that's a bad comparison.
And
that's a bad comparison.
He can play multiple positions. He could be your mid card. He could sell your European card. I'm going back to WWE references here. And he could sell your main event card. You can put him anywhere and he will be great. Heel, face, it doesn't matter. You can even have him copy characters. He could be Ric Flair. He could be Macho Man. Whatever he wants to do. He is a character of wrestling and he's great at what he does.
Don't you think that any top wrestler should be able to do that?
No. Because if any top
they shouldn't?
At the top, and everybody can't make the top.
But so wait a minute. So you're saying you just said, and not everybody can make the top. So if that's the case, how do you win? And I think that great wrestlers, I think everybody can do the work, but what makes a great wrestler is their ability to progress and go with whatever's taken with them. The New Day may not be the best technical wrestlers ever, but they're definitely one of the best right now.
Not true. You're the best wrestler. Is that Vince McMahon says you're the best wrestler, hands down.
Well, therein lies the problem.
It is a problem. It's not on talent. It's based on who you know and who you like.
So then why would you draft that way?
Why wouldn't I draft that way? Because I'm not.
Why would you then? I mean, if this just happened where you got guys that can move merch and sell and all that stuff, and it's not really based on wrestling talent, the problem with McMahon's company or seemingly his way of thinking, then why do that?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. I can't answer it, but the way I drafted, I picked one of the best wrestlers of all time in Rick Rude. I get a guy who gets you reaction.
Bobby Roode, because
Rick Rude is very dead.
Bobby Roode.
He will not make shows.
All right.
I think he's booked.
Bobby Roode, excuse me. And then going back to somebody that gives me a reaction wherever he goes, whether it's positive or negative, I feed off that as a wrestling fan. You got to pick Roman and pick the guy who's the most rangiest wrestler that I ever seen in my lifetime that can do multiple things, and Jay Lethal.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing you and trying to like have you validate your picks. I mean, they are who you pick them, and it's fair enough. However, I just think that WWE, they've turned into ESPN. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, where the personality isn't bigger than the sport.
True.
And personally, some people would argue with me that that's not the case, because obviously Stone Cold became a thing, and he's not really like a technically sound wrestler. Goldberg became a thing, and the Undertaker it wasn't like a technically sound wrestler either. So, but I just think that that's a lot what's missing today, and that why we don't have they can't do the storylines that they want to do, because this ain't the Attitude Era anymore.
Yep.
So where's the wrestling? And I think that one of the reasons why we're taking a hit as far as Raw and SmackDown goes is because bigger than the wrestling. I don't know about you guys, but when Raw comes to DC in September, I would want to see a wrestling show, not a television show. I could watch Lucha Underground for that.
I understand.
All right, so because you guys just went on a whole tandem for like God knows how long, so
6 minutes. That's how long it was.
We probably could have did another round for that much, but okay, fine.
We were only supposed to do 2. Calm yourself.
Fine. So let's get ready to end the show. You know how we have to end the show nowadays.
I'm good.
What'd you say?
I'm good today.
Excuse me, Dwayne.
It's okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Time to take creative control here. I just got the thumbs up from somebody. So let's do this.
Right.
One more round here. Okay. And how do we add a twist to this right here?
Oh, dude.
No, let's just do another round. Let's just keep it even. Let's do another round. I can't think of it.
It's a WWE draft where we tease that something awesome is going to happen and then nothing happens.
Yeah, I know, but I was put on the spot there, so I couldn't think of anything that fast. At least I can name a wrestler quick. At least I can do that.
There are no more left. We drafted them all.
You're right. Actually, my next pick, I picked WWE Vacant because he's been the champion more times than anybody else in the world. Hey, all right, so then for the 4th round, Mr. Krabby.
Okay, well, I guess I'll have to pick the last remaining wrestler left on the board in the entire world. I gotta go with Kyle O'Reilly. Should I not go with Kyle O'Reilly? I mean,
no.
I mean, like, do you know something I don't know? Like,
no. Kyle O'Reilly was on the scope.
All right. I mean, I think he's very good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upside with Kyle. Obviously, hopefully, he stays healthy, but
yeah,
he's a good dude.
Dwayne, hopefully that you remember that there are wrestlers still left in the world. What's your next?
There's none left. See, there's none left.
Oh God.
Oh, my mute button was, I wasn't trying to. Anyways, so I drafted AJ. I got Okada, Kevin Owens. Let me see. I'm gonna go with someone who I felt is the best cruiserweight in the world.
Brock Lesnar.
You said what?
Lesnar.
I'm going.
Lesnar cut weight and get down to 205 in like 5 minutes.
Look, I'm going with Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay,
that's
a good pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
So
I don't know how he's going to do against like all those bigger dudes, but okay.
All right, it's on me now.
AJ Styles is not a big dude.
His hair is like 40 pounds.
Yeah. Size? Yes, you're up.
So I may say bold statements, but I'm not dumb.
You get ready, America.
Thank you for justification, sir.
My fourth pick will be Charlotte Flair. Like Krabby, I have to pick me a woman on my roster to be my top woman. So why not take one of the best women wrestlers out there that can do multiple athletic things? So I will pick Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
So, okay.
You did pick, so you picked her over Alexa Bliss, that is, right?
I did.
Cool.
Hypocrisy.
Momentarily, let me rephrase. Right now, at this very moment, I think she's the best wrestler in WWE right now because of what she can do on the mic. That raises expectation. But I would still pick Charlotte.
Hypocrisy.
Okay, let me be quiet now.
Anyway, my last pick. I need to bring a little bit of charisma, a little bit of excitement, somebody that's definitely gonna put some butts in seats outside of just the wrestling aspect. So I picked the good man Dalton Castle. Do I get the boys too or no?
No.
The boys are part of the package.
Do I even get? I even take the Asian boys if I can.
The boys are part of the package.
But Dalton Castle, absolutely. The guy got the tools. And
you got to give him the boys. You got to give him the boys.
Like I said, I'll take the generic Asian boys if I have to.
It's okay.
Enough with this draft stuff. Let's get into our segment of Do We Care?
The NFL draft is tonight. Do we care?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
I have no idea. I have no idea what this is. There's a Vince McMahon movie coming out called Pandemonium. Do we care?
No, we already seen the McMahon story on the 20 for 20 or whatever it is.
30.
We do 30 for 30. Yes, we don't need to see any more Vince McMahon stuff.
No.
You know who didn't see that because he hates ESPN? This guy.
It was perfectly fine to not watch it. Actually, the Ted Turner story is way more interesting than that.
Well, he's a much more interesting guy, but his story was a lot more interesting than McMahon's. But sure. Renee Young and Dean Ambrose are married. Do we care?
No. Oh, okay. So
No.
I'm going to go half and half on this. I do not care. I think it's great for them. And I think for all the people who are angrily mad at the fact that this was not publicly exposed are a bunch of freaking idiots. And the reason why I'm speaking to this, for anybody who's not aware, there was a Twitter uproar last week about people feeling like how this should not have been a secret, and took sides on it. And why are people so invested in people's personal life that they have to make statements such as like, it's a shame that nobody knew nothing about it, as if like people were respecting invitations in the mail or something like that. So it's a complete travesty that people think that way. With the Kardashians and all that being on E, and then you have Total Divas. Now everybody feel like that everybody's entire life needs to be exposed in the matter of what the Kardashians is. And I think it's silly for anybody that felt that type of way of saying why wasn't it exposed?
Now I want to play devil's advocate because I honestly don't care about either one of them. It's because of Total Divas, which Renee Young and Dean Ambrose are on the season. It's because of the fact that their lives have been, even though it's for storyline purposes, they are a little bit more exposed in the media. They have a Twitter, they do interact with fans and stuff like that. And because we are allowed behind the curtain, even though it's on a Truman Show level, we are allowed behind the curtain. People do become more invested if you are a fan. Personally, I don't care. My, relationship with the stuff that I like stops when I turn on the channel. But for people, and corporate loves it, they get invested. They watch Total Divas. They want to see what happens. They want to know. They feel a part of the family. And then for something like this to happen off the air or out of the blue, feels kind of like, hey, what happened?
I wish
should
that
it be a thing, but
I mean, get it, but you just took the civil approach to it. People weren't like that. People were like really mad, slanders, riots. Like, hey, I can't believe we didn't see this. Like, this is messed up. Adding these people, like adding Renee Young saying like, you deserve better, and stuff like that.
Well, let's be real. She does deserve better. I mean, that's cool.
Next,
she can do better. Sting, and I hate Sting. This is why this is on here.
Automatically care.
For you. Let me hear the question. Sting, what happened with Sting?
Sting said in a recent interview with Sports Illustrated that he regrets not being able to have a match with The Undertaker. He said that's something that would be that there was a dream match for him that he would have wanted to happen, and though he's not officially done yet, and that he could get back in the ring with Seth Rollins.
Don't care.
Absolutely care. Absolutely care.
I don't care.
17 years old.
Who cares? When you want to talk about matches at WrestleMania that makes no sense, this one at least does have storyline to it and purpose.
Done.
But that would have been 2 years after Sting was done.
I'm just sorry. This draft is going crazy. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
I did not mean to react like that, but oh my god.
Oh, sorry. This draft pick just blew me. Sorry.
Okay, we're talking football. I'm about to put my
onesie on. As a member of the Sting Society, the Icon Society, and he's gone. Jeez.
But my thing is, and again, and I don't say this about anybody, though I was never a fan of Sting. It's the idea that we're still rehashing old stuff. There's a lot of new stuff that we could do. Why are they forcing us to be excited about old business? Sting is 186 years old. He's done it.
I'm not asking for him to give me weekly programming as a WrestleMania draw or SummerSlam. I think
they got to build up to it.
Right, but that doesn't mean he has to be in the ring and do anything extra. Not legitimate match building, but just promo build. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
There's no wheelchair ramp to the ring, so he can't get in it.
I'm sure he's much more capable of getting in that ring than the Undertaker, who can barely get down the ramp, who could not get down the ramp for Royal Rumble or WrestleMania.
I did see the Royal Rumble, and that was horrendous. Was WrestleMania that much worse?
No, he came. They brought him up halfway through it.
What? Like a little go-kart?
Yeah. No, he came up from the ramp halfway through it. He elevated through it. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, why?
And I'm also intrigued as a two-part question is the fact that AJ and Shawn Michaels around the threes table on the WWE Network. The conversation about how they wish the match could have happened, how they appreciate each other's career, and how they felt like it made sense how AJ took that promo and putting that rumor out there about himself, and how like Shawn Michaels, appreciated it by keeping him relevant and stuff like that. So, there's good there, even though it didn't happen. I know you'd rather not have happened. And they actually thought they could have had magic because they talked about each other's body weights and how, what they can do and all that other stuff. So at least that's brought into fact that the realistic thing. But, Shawn Michaels says he'd rather stay retired. And in fact, that how he ended his career being retired, he thought it was a bad decision to ever get away from that. So, yeah.
I 100% agree, and good for the old man for staying down. I don't ever need to see him wrestle again. And it's not because I don't like him. It's just because his time has come and gone. It's okay. See you at the Hall of Fame. There'll be drinks in the back.
Yeah.
But I don't need to see Steve Austin wrestle again, or even The Rock. It's okay.
Quick question then. And do we agree with this? It's a yes or no question. Everybody can answer. If they're in the Hall of Fame, they don't need to wrestle again. Like Kurt Angle doesn't need to wrestle again. Yes or no?
No, never. None of them. I mean, isn't that the point of being in the Hall of Fame? That means you're actually done?
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
All right.
So the last thing is, do we care? There have been a bunch of NXT firings over the past week. Do we care?
No.
Yeah, because
no.
I mean they're
Josh from Tough Enough
they weren't
won.
anybody.
The winner of Tough Enough
No.
won. He was cut. Allegedly, now there's a statement saying that he was not released. But either way, no one cares. No one cares at all.
That's what I thought. I guess the last thing.
Well, let me ask you this
Um,
question for you, just for you, Krabby. The Indians won today. Do you care?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, yeah, I mean it's baseball. I always care.
Yep. Now we're one game.
Yeah, so I mean,
For top.
go Tribe, you racist.
Well, hey, I love my Tribe. We're going to win the World Series this year.
This year being 2034, right?
Hey, you said that last year when we were talking about it.
But hold up, I don't want to talk about last year. It was Chicago's time.
Last one. Last
Yeah,
statement.
well, I mean, I think that it's baseball. We can talk about that in October. But the last thing is Baltimore Championship Wrestling. This isn't really a matter if you care or not, but I thought this is pretty interesting. Their next show is June 3rd in West Baltimore. The place is called Gentleman 10. And
It sounds like I'm 2 seconds away from being shot.
Well, that's just because it's in Baltimore City. So yes, you will always mosquitoes and AR-15s.
Don't do it, Krabby. Don't do it.
Now, I love Baltimore. I'll be up there this weekend actually, but the question is, Gentleman 10s is definitely a strip club. Now, 2 Chainz and I went to their first show back in March, and we assumed that half the roster was going to be working the night shift at Gentleman 10s. Now, dead serious. And I can send you some pictures if you want, but we definitely got some dudes that are on the list. If you have a bar mitzvah coming up, let us know. We may be able to put you on some guys. Do you see yourself going to a strip club to watch a wrestling show?
I mean, I sent you the picture earlier. I think I sent you the picture earlier. But if anybody's ever played that old Def Jam game, Def Jam Vendetta, where they had fights or wrestling matches all over the place, and one was a strip club, that's exactly what I think their posters should be. And I don't care. Right. Half that roster will be having a whole field advantage, and there can be some great things that happen. Unfortunately, I would not be one of those people in there mistaken as one of those type of dudes to see what type of greatness they may actually put on. Like Crab said earlier, there's a good chance that the stipulation for all these matches are pole matches.
All right, time to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I definitely see like a baby oil challenge in the works.
Oh my God, let me stop.
Maybe a lumberjack match.
Yeah. Considering that their first show was at the pavilion where they have ROH in South Baltimore, a change of venue was much needed. I just didn't think that it would be a strip club. So I don't know if I'm going to go. It's June 3rd. It does start at 6, but I would have to bring my vest and everything. It's just a hassle to go to Baltimore that late at night.
What about that on the WWE terms? Was it Extreme Rules or what is it in June? That's coming to Baltimore?
Yeah, Extreme Rules.
Isn't that in May?
No, it's in June.
Oh. I thought it was like a show at the end of May.
No, it used to be. Now, is it a Raw exclusive or SmackDown?
Either way, I won't be going. I hate the Royal Farms Arena.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either.
It's a beautiful place.
Said nobody ever.
Oh yeah, it is Extreme Rules. Hey, so you have the Baltimore show June 3rd at the strip club with Dollar Bill in them, and you have Extreme Rules the night after. And I might do both of those actually. Okay, I'm down. Bring your own baby oil.
Anyway, I know. Yeah, though. So, best of wishes to you, Krabby, if that's the last time we ever see you. Might need to hire you some security. We have a couple of friends over at the gated community, so you know, we'll see if they can escort you down. It may cost you top dollar, but
yeah, that's
nonetheless. Anywho, thanks for listening to the Big O Belt Wrestling Podcast tonight. Again, check us out every week, Thursday, 8 p.m. And you know, for 2 Chains, the Giant Crabs, Mr. Silly, Extra Silly Sellers, and D Wayne himself. Appreciate you for listening, and hit us up on all our platforms and subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.